Joining us now for more on his story, Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler. Guy, good to have you back on. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, and thanks for having me on as always. What shocks me about this case is that there's basically the same situation and same factual pattern that Griner had, getting caught bringing in medical marijuana, very small amount. We're talking about ounces. And then the difference here, though, is how Griner was treated and how Fogel was treated. Again, Fogel being the history teacher from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Griner was put on what's called wrongfully detained status by the State Department within a matter of weeks. Fogel, who's been detained longer than Griner was, remember, he got detained in August of 2021. He's still not on wrongfully detained status. So I want answers. I want to know why the State Department has not declared him wrongfully detained, which would then make him eligible for a prisoner swap. And then finally, the one-for-one trade with Victor Boot is patently offensive. We have a history teacher wrongfully detained. We have a U.S. Marine wrongfully detained, and we had a celebrity basketball player wrongfully detained. We should have traded all three of them, maybe even some concessions with the war in Ukraine, for Victor Boot, the merchant of death. The fact that this is a one-for-one trade, it strengthens Putin and his regime. It gives them the ability to have this PR stunt where they can parade Victor Boot around and show that they had a victory over the West.
Right.
It's absolutely shameful.
Yeah, Victor Boot has been on a media tour in Russia since that release 8 days ago. Does this make Americans less safe overseas? Maybe if they're traveling in Eastern Europe or places like Russia and China. Does this set a very dangerous precedent? If you take an American into custody for bogus reasons, you can then use that American as a bargaining chip to get what you might want out of the Biden administration.
So there's always been that risk when Americans travel to totalitarian regimes, communist regimes, North Korea, Russia, Iran, for example. But this now makes the price of Americans even higher, especially, and these are the unintended consequences of this deal, especially if you're a celebrity or anybody that has status within the left and the Democratic Party, you are now more highly valued than somebody that's from flyover country or former service member, for example, somebody that the ruling regime doesn't really prioritize.
Right.
So it actually makes people that the Democrats are constantly telling us are more vulnerable when they're overseas. But I want to be clear. I'm celebrating the fact that Griner was brought home. What I'm very upset about is how slow the administration has been to act on Whelan and Fogel. And also that we gave up Victor Boot for a 1-to-1 deal, not 3-for-1. Okay,
we've got less than 25 seconds, and we're all happy that Brittany Griner is home. That 9-year sentence was totally ridiculous. NBC had reporting last weekend. It appeared and then it was gone without much explanation as to why. No real retraction, at least in the moment, that there was a choice. The Biden administration had a choice and chose Griner. Do you buy that?
I don't know if that's the case or not. I know that Putin was the one setting the terms, but if Putin said you can have Griner or Whelan back, it wouldn't surprise me if the Biden administration chose Griner. And why is that? Because they view people on the intersectionality hierarchy. That's how they view your worth as a person. Also, she's a celebrity basketball player. Their donor base is very sensitive to Griner.
Yeah.
That would not surprise me.
Congressman, we haven't forgotten about Paul Whelan. We will not forget about Marc Fogel in Russia right now. Keep us posted. Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, thank you. Have a great weekend, sir. Appreciate it.
You too.